Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a true masterclass. We are going to fundamentally change how you interact with all the media swirling around you. Think about what happens when you walk down a busy city street, or honestly, just when you spend 5 minutes scrolling on your phone. We are completely bombarded, right? Billboards, restaurant menus, Instagram stories, event flyers, you name it. But instead of just being passive consumers, just sort of mindlessly absorbing all these images and posters every single day, you are going to become a confident, responsible digital creator. We're unpacking a really practical curriculum designed all around digital citizenship, and by the time we wrap up today, you'll have the exact blueprint for turning your own creative ideas into polished, professional reality. But before we even touch the digital tools, I want you to pause and just think for a second. Picture a really striking movie poster you saw recently. Maybe it was one with those bold, neon colors cutting through a dark, moody background that just perfectly captured the whole vibe of the film. Or maybe a beautiful birthday invitation you got in the mail with elegant gold lettering that instantly made you feel special. So, what makes a design catch your eye first? Why do we totally obsess over one announcement on a community bulletin board but completely ignore another one right next to it? Is it the colors, the big, bold text, the layout? Understanding what makes visual media attractive is absolutely crucial. It's the first step in critical thinking, and honestly, it is the absolute secret to creating designs that people actually want to engage with. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our game plan for today. First, we'll look at the power of graphic design. Second, we'll go inside the digital workspace. Third, the rules of good design. Fourth, a step-by-step creation guide. And finally, bringing designs to life. Let's get right into it. Kicking things off with Section 1, the power of graphic design. We live in a world where communication is incredibly visual. Technology and software, well, they just aren't optional add-ons anymore. They're powerful, essential tools that help us create better outputs for work, school, and our community. So what exactly are we talking about here? Basically, graphics design software refers to digital tools and applications used to create, modify, and arrange images, text, and elements into one unified visual project. And we aren't just talking about abstract theories today. We are learning how to use these tools for practical, everyday stuff. Imagine taking a plain, kind of boring photo of your local community center and then overlaying some sleek, readable text and a cool graphic border. Instantly, you've made an engaging invite for a town hall meeting. Whether you're on a smartphone or a laptop, these digital tools let you combine different pieces of media into a single, cohesive message. And consider the huge variety in the kinds of mediums you can actually create for. On one hand, you've got print media, the stuff you physically hold in your hands. We're talking restaurant menus, birthday invitations, physical posters. On the other hand, we have non-print media, those your digital outputs, like social media posts, email banners, or digital barangay announcements that get beamed straight to a smartphone. The true superpower of learning the software is versatility. You don't have to learn one super complicated program for printing and then a completely different app for your social media. No way. You can design a stunning restaurant menu that you print on paper and then easily tweak that exact same design file into a vibrant promotional post for Instagram. Mastering just one software skill set empowers you to create for both the physical and the digital worlds. Moving right along to Section 2, inside the digital workspace.
Now, if you've never used design software before, opening it for the first time can feel, well, honestly, it can feel pretty overwhelming. But try thinking of it just like a physical artist's studio, except it's translated onto a screen. Let's get comfortable in this digital studio. I'll be your friendly tour guide, so let's walk through a little mini narrative of building a project to see how these 10 essential tools actually work. First up, we lay down our canvas or workspace, literally just your blank sheet of paper on the screen. Now, if you don't want to start totally from scratch, you use templates. These are an absolute lifesaver, ready-made designs that give you a massive head start. To start building, we'll grab the image or photo upload tool. That lets you pull a picture straight from your phone or computer and drop it right onto the canvas. Next, to really make it pop, we grab the text tool to add our titles and descriptions. We can even use the shapes and elements tool to, say, put a nice colored rectangle behind our text so it stands out better. To bring the right mood or vibe to the piece, you play with color options and font options, tweaking the shade and style of your words and backgrounds. Now, as your design gets a bit more complex, you're going to use layers and positioning. This is such a brilliant concept. Imagine stacking clear sheets of glass on your desk. The bottom sheet has your background photo, the next sheet up has your colorful shapes, and the very top glass has your text. Layers allow you to slide these elements around, deciding what sits in front or behind without ruining the artwork underneath. And finally, when your masterpiece is totally complete, you use download, export, and your save options to lock in your work and turn it into a final file you can actually share.
which brings us to Section 3, Rules of Good Design.
So we have to acknowledge a hard truth here. Knowing where all the buttons are, that's only half the battle. Knowing how to use them effectively is what makes a design actually work. We've all seen examples of truly terrible design, right? You know, the kind of flyer that looks like a ransom note because someone decided to use literally 14 different fonts, or a poster with bright neon yellow text on a pure white background that physically hurts your eyes to read. To avoid those visual disasters, we have some basic foundational rules. First, always use a clear title and a readable font. If people are walking past your poster and can't read the headline in 2 seconds flat, your message is completely lost. Second, include only the important details. Don't write a whole novel on a movie poster. Third, choose matching colors that are actually easy on the eyes. Fourth, use safe, appropriate images that fit the context of what you're saying. Fifth, align your objects neatly and avoid overcrowding. Overcrowding causes visual fatigue. You really have to let your design breathe by leaving some empty space. And sixth, check your spelling. A simple, silly typo can completely ruin an otherwise highly professional document.
And that leads right into the most crucial point of this entire curriculum, which is captured beautifully by this idea. Show creativity, patience, responsibility, and respect for copyright and appropriate use of images, texts, and digital resources. This attitude, it's the very backbone of being a good digital citizen. I mean, it is incredibly easy to just search for an image on the internet, right-click, copy, and paste it right into your canvas. But as responsible digital creators, we absolutely must respect copyright. Why does this even matter? Well, because taking an image without permission isn't just rude to the original artist, it can actually get your community organization or your small business into serious legal trouble. We have to use copyright-safe, freely licensed images to show basic respect for digital ownership. Your design tools are incredibly powerful, which means using them requires a truly responsible mindset. All right, Section 4, Step-by-Step Creation Guide. Let's see how all of this builds into real action. Imagine we're designing a promotional flyer for a local weekend farmers market. Here is the master sequence for getting that done. Step 1, open your design app and choose a template that has a really outdoorsy, fresh feel to it. Step 2, set your canvas size. This is vital. We want this to fit on a standard piece of printer paper so we can physically hand it out, so we'll set the exact dimensions for that rather than ending up with something the size of a tiny business card. Step 3, add text and elements. We'll drop in a beautiful, copyright-free photo of some fresh vegetables, and maybe a cute little vector icon of a shopping basket. Step 4, format and style. We'll change our headline font to something bold and welcoming, maybe make the text a nice earthy green color. Step 5, arrange and align. This is where we tidy up the room, so to speak. We align the dates, the times, and the location perfectly so the viewer's eye flows naturally right down the page. And finally, Step 6, save, download, and print that final output. It's a highly logical, step-by-step journey from a totally blank screen to a finished product in your hands. Finally, Section 5, bringing designs to life. So the ultimate goal of this explainer isn't just for you to memorize what a text tool is. It's about real-world integration. Let's map these skills directly to different areas of your life to really elevate your community. In school, you can use these exact same tools to design an ALS enrollment poster or craft a really clean, professional resume that instantly catches an employer's eye just by focusing on clear text and sharp alignment. In your community, you can step up as an active participant by designing a perfectly organized announcement for a barangay cleanup drive, making sure everyone knows exactly when and where to show up. And perhaps most impactfully, for livelihood, graphic design heavily fosters entrepreneurship. Think about it. People eat with their eyes first, right? A well-designed restaurant menu with mouth-watering photos, great alignment, and appealing colors could literally be the difference between a struggling food stall and a totally thriving local business. By applying these concepts, you're using just one piece of software to tackle a whole bunch of real-world challenges. But before you release your creation into the wild, you always have to perform what I call the pre-flight check. This is basically your final exam as a digital citizen. First, check your spelling and verify your details. Let's be real, there is literally nothing worse than spending your hard-earned money to print 500 beautiful glossy flyers only to realize you spelled the name of your own town wrong. Just brutal. Confirm your images are appropriate. Double-check your alignment and colors to make sure everything is completely readable. And lastly, make sure you're using the correct file format. Use a JPG or PNG when you're saving an image to post on social media. But if you're sending a document to an actual print shop, use a PDF. A PDF locks everything in place, making sure your carefully chosen fonts don't magically move around and completely ruin your layout when someone else opens the file on their computer. So, we've explored the depths of the software, we've learned the unshakable rules of good design, and we've mapped out the practical steps to actually build something from scratch. You are no longer just a passive consumer of the media around you. You've got everything you need to be an active, responsible creator. I really encourage you to open up a design app at home, play around with a canvas, and put these skills to work. So, I'll leave you with this provocative question to think about. Now that you have the tools to create, what powerful message will you design and share with your community next? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I absolutely cannot wait to see what you create.